Awesome. Awesome.
Jamerson, what's going on? How you been?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. I couldn't be better, man. I can't be better. Things have a lot's changed since the last time we seen each other, huh?
Yeah, so let's see. When's the last time we physically saw each other?
20.
Because I moved in 20, but I've been back though. Did we hung out?
18,
Yeah, it's
2018?
like 2018, 2019.
Yeah, 2018, somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, man. What's been going on? How's everything been?
It's been good. It's been good. A lot has changed since the last time we've seen each other. Man, life has been moving at the speed of light. I'm talking, it's from on to the next job. Probably been at two different jobs since the last time I seen you. On the work side of the house and on the music side, we had the pandemic, everything stopped, and you
Yep.
kind of have that feeling like, do you still got it? Can you do it? Do you want to do it? Right.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who, also became a parent at the same time. And I'm sitting here like, where are we at? And then you kind of doubt yourself for a little bit. And then you feel like, you know what? Let me get back into it and see how I feel. You dive back into it and you're like, you know what? It just feels like riding a bike. You forget it, but then you get on and you're like, oh, this is easy. I haven't missed anything. So it's been great. It's been great. I can't complain. I'm still performing at least at the minimum once a month. I'm definitely not at where it was when you last saw me. I think at that point in time, I was doing almost a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at that point. Yeah, those I was still doing Saturdays. But yeah, it's calmed down a little bit though, for sure. It's definitely calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, you were one of the first. No, let me think. You were the second guest we ever had on the podcast because it was me, Sean. So we interviewed Sean, who I just checked in with last week.
Awesome.
He's out in Cali now.
Good.
And we were talking, and at that time we were both working at Skyward. Your schedule was nuts. You were living in Cambridge and doing shows in Boston. You would leave work, like go rest for like an hour.
Yeah, I would leave work. I would rest for like an hour, an hour and a half max, and literally I would perform from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And it was wild. Like, those are the days where, like, in your younger years where you can bounce back like there's no tomorrow. You do that now, you're like, man, I'm still feeling it the next day, missing out on the sleep. But it's crazy to think how wild of a schedule I used to do. Like, legit, I would do even like the Thursdays and the Fridays, especially the Thursdays were tough. The Thursdays, man, you do a club till 2 a.m. and I'm working a full-time job, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna get home probably by like 2:33, and I gotta figure this out because I'm only gonna get a couple hours sleep, and I gotta make like I wasn't out last night when I show up at the workplace. So it is absolutely wild, man. I don't regret it though. I tell you, I don't regret it. It was worth every single minute.
At that point, I remember. So for those who don't know, Jamerson, you were working in IT as well as DJing.
Yep.
When I'm in Boston, you had multiple residencies and you were doing multiple gigs. I remember specifically we visited you at Hong Kong. I remember you were also doing the
that was epic.
What is it? Ebony
Gala.
Yeah, you're doing the Ebony Gala. You still do the Ebony Gala?
Still doing it. I can't believe I finished year 7 this year, believe it or not. Yeah, in December.
So and you were traveling too because your boy was doing shows.
Yeah. So that back when I last saw you, I did professional relaxation. I believe that was a year in DR. That was the year. It was 2017, 2018. Yeah, that year was in DR. So that one was a cool trip that year. And that was the thing that was mind blowing. It was similar to what we had talked about when we were at Turtle Swamp, where like, somebody discovered me from doing the Ebony Gala from word of mouth. A guy in Atlanta had reached out to me, and he brought me for year 2. So the first year we did Panama, and then he brought me on board for DR, and that was crazy. I had a really good time for that one. That one is nuts because you play out here, you're nobody. I mean, you're somebody to a degree, but no one really cares. Let's be honest. And you go somewhere else and people showing you love as if like, you're the next big thing, which is, humbly speaking, not the case. But it was fun. I learned a lot too, and I did something cool in that one. I did a behind the scenes series of life as a DJ. So I want to show people like what we actually do, not just we go into a venue. So I documented the whole thing from when I woke up to what I was doing and eating, but more so like sound check. And now I'm doing sound checks with like Def Jam comedy artists like some more. And like I'm meeting her for the first time, and she's telling me how she wants her set to go and working with the promoter. And then Uncle Luke, he was on that trip as well. That was wild. That was wild. Let me tell you, old ass Uncle Luke, he still get it in. It's
Yeah.
wild. This man be having them old heads going crazy. It's absolutely wild, man. I'm like, what are you, like 60? Still got it. Still got it, man.
And it's funny, when that first interview we did 8 years ago, you were like, you want to travel with it.
Yeah.
And you immediately traveled with it. Like, right? You were like, I want to
Yeah.
travel and DJ. And
Yeah.
you were out of the country like months
Yeah.
after that. It's crazy, man.
It
So
absolutely is.
so COVID hits. What was it like when COVID hit? Were you kind of relieved a little bit, or
It was a weird feeling because you kind of felt like something you loved was snatched away from you. And you never really had a definitive reason why. You know, it wasn't like people were falling from the sky. I mean, unfortunately, some people did pass away, of course, and rest in peace to all those who lost somebody. But it wasn't. It came out as if like you were gonna get near someone, you were gonna drop. You know, and then we saw the time go by, and we saw, you know, all right, this isn't so bad. But what had happened is it shut down business for everybody. So you saw your
yeah,
mom and pops go down, and then nightlife was just non-existent, you know. And then finally we got an opportunity to start performing again, and that's when you had the whole "We Outside" movement, right? And for me, I stayed low key for a little bit. I just want to see how everything played out, and I'm checking with all my other buddies who were DJing at the time, seeing like, yo, what's the scene like? What's the scene like? And everyone's like, it's really slow. Nobody's really dancing. Everyone's just kind of there. It's not like what it was before. And some people, even till today, argue that it's still not exactly like what it was before. Like the attendance in places is still packed, depending on like the specialty nights.
yeah,
But those regular kind of residencies, they're depending upon the venue, your location, they're not what it was before. One thing I think has changed though is especially the city of Boston, they started embracing the urban scene more. Because like back in the day, you couldn't go anywhere with casual clothing. You know what I'm saying?
no,
You had to have the button up, the hard bottoms. Now that's a thing. Like you can just be yourself finally. And I feel like it took this city way too long to go down that direction. But that's one thing I do like coming back into the scene. And it was tough, man. It was tough. Like you kind of dealt yourself a little bit. Like, you know, you do your IG lives and all that good stuff. And you know, that went well. But you know, like, all right, this is cool, but can you do it in front of a live crowd? Right? Do you still have what it takes? And then, you know, you mix your first song, and you're like, oh man, this is a piece of cake. You know, you get your first event and you're back in it.
Did any of the places you used to work at close?
Um, some just changed. They were either rebranded. I remember I left my residency right before the pandemic. So I had did a 9-year run at Hong Kong, which I love just for the simple fact that it was an urban night that wasn't a club. And I felt like the city needed that. And what you see now in the city is basically all that. There's
Oh,
like, you know, Museum of Science, Museum of Fine Arts, your MFA, you have ICA, you have, you know, Big Night Live and, you know, House of Blues, all that good stuff. And I feel like back then we didn't get to see it on that capacity. Like you had,
no,
you know, some DJs that were doing it once in a blue, but now that's what people are really saving up to go out to is like those specialty nights, the R&B nights, the reggae nights and all that. So you know, it's changed. It's definitely changed a lot. But for me, I think I fell off the residency game. I just kind of was at a point where after I left Hong Kong in 2019, I remember I moved, right? Pandemic hit 7 weeks after I moved out of Cambridge. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna chill low key for a little bit, do the dad thing, do the dog dad thing. And then I felt like, okay, everyone's good here at home. Let me go back out and do what I love. And it's worth it, man. You gotta love something that, you know, relieves you of your stress. That's you can't like put it at the wayside and be like, oh, I'm never doing this again. No way, man. It's like, what's that? What's that? It's like they keep calling me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
there's something about it that drives you to it.
So, professionally, how much did things change?
A
When,
lot, a
what's been going on? Because
lot, a
I've seen some
lot.
of the things,
Yeah,
just because we're
it
friends online,
has
but
been wild, humbling, and like not chaotic, but just like it was really strange how everything had played out. So at the time, I remember I had left Skyward. I went to another company, Wellframe. I was at Wellframe for I don't even know how many years, like almost was I at 3? I don't even know how many years it was now. It was a while. I was there for a while. And I remember that company ended up during the pandemic getting acquired Like they got acquired by another company. So I moved over to another job. I still had a role there, but I didn't like the new role they gave me. And I just did something different. And I said, you know what? Oh, since I'm not performing, I'm gonna lock in on my 9 to 5 and try to push my salary as high as I can.
Okay.
And so I literally was like, at the time I was I think I was a sysadmin at the time. I was a sysadmin at the time, and I got promoted to an IT manager. And so I took that to 2 other companies and did compliance as well. And then now I'm an IT manager at a cybersecurity company in Boston. And so that has come a long way from being in the healthcare space to now in the cybersecurity space, which was a space I wanted to play in for a while. So it's been great. I remember managing a team of 1 to a team of 7, 8, and it's a massive change. And I'm talking globally. So the time I wake up, I got members of my team who've already sent me a message 7 hours ahead of time, so it's a lot has changed there. And that's really been my focus. Like I love what I do on the side, and I'm very selective with the events I pick. I'm so selective because I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I love it. Like I just legit love performing in front of people. So I don't have to take the weddings. I don't got to take, grandma's event down the street, her 80th or some BS like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm very selective. And the thing is I like even change my pricing guide a lot around that. Like I legit, people are paying me. Yes, you're paying me to perform, but you're really paying for my time away from home, my time away from my daughter and my family. So that's really what it is now. And the work side is just it's intense. The job I'm at now is aggressive. I love it. I got a good crew that I'm with. I'm learning a lot, which is where I really wanted to get from the role. And I'm trying to figure out what's my next step after this. I got a few years. I'm probably going to do this. I don't know. I think at some point in time, Joe, I want to start my own business, something where I could work from home, but make it for myself. You know what I mean? Not living somebody else's dream, live my own dream, man. Every time I go into the office, I sit there and I ask myself, I'm working for somebody else's dream. I'm trying to have, my own business where I don't got to do that no more. I think that's just something that a lot of people aspire to. It's just about how bad do you want it? Have you carved out a path in order to get there? So, I think it's important.
That's been tough for me personally because the natural progression in corporate is managing. And first, shout out to Tragic Johnson, my boy Brandon from Baltimore. It's tough, man, because it's like one thing when you're just doing a task and you're really good at that task, you can compartmentalize that. When you start working with people, it's a whole new thing. There's all kinds of expectations. So I've always been scared of, having things like this, having other things we've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bro, if I commit to this, I got to commit to this. I've never wanted to be the guy who's like, yeah, I'm a manager. I'm just not going to care, because you can't do that. Like you can't be like, yeah, I got my passion.
Yep.
You figure it out, guys, because they're looking it out. They're looking out for you. How's that transition been to manager?
It's different. Like when you're a solo contributor and you become a manager, you realize 2 things. Like you, as a solo contributor, and if you had a good job, you're automatically accountable. Like you take pride in your work, right? Because it's all you. Now you realize your performance is based upon your team, a whole group of mofos that, you kind of see them as damn near extended family. You're with them more than you are with your personal family. And so for me, I had no problem with that adjustment. When I had moved into the role at the cybersecurity company I'm at now, I had folks on this team that I, didn't hire. And that was new for me because usually I'm used to hiring my own team. And that's what I had done before, even when it was a small team of 1 or 2. So that was a different feeling. And you get to learn everyone's personalities. And that's the thing is you got to understand your team. But it's kind of like being a coach. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly like being a coach, right? Are you going to be a Greg Popovich? Are you going to be a Doc Rivers? Are you going to be, whoever, you know what I'm saying? So for me, my style was, in order for me to get these guys to listen to me, because I'm just some random black dude off the street. They don't know who I am. I'm here. And they're kind of, you kind of have to prove to yourself, but prove to them why you were put in this role, right? To lead them and lead by example, not being afraid to, I'm going to do all the work you guys do just so I can show you I can do it. So I can understand what you're going through so I can relate to it to better coach you. And for me, I found that to be something that I just enjoy, man. I enjoy it. It is like having there's days where I come home and I'm like, man, they driving me crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But overall, I love it. It's a different challenge that I feel like in order for me to get to a next role, whether that's a director or whatever that may be, right? It's just something that you got to get more reps in, and I think I'm at the right time in my life in order to do it. And I love it, man. I love it, especially when you see. I had the ability to promote someone from my team, and that was an awesome feeling. Like it's crazy because I've been in that seat before, where
Right.
someone gave me that role. I'm actually when I became a manager, I remember I felt like, oh, this is awesome. It's something I wanted for a while, and I remember when I promoted someone on my team to the next team up, and I remember seeing their face when they got it, and I think they kind of knew they were going to get it at some point in time, but just knowing that I was able to do something that changes people's lives. Like you literally putting money in people's pockets, right? Things that are be their building blocks for the foreseeable future. So it's a humbling experience, man. Extremely humbling.
You ever have any insecurity when it came to managing, like the imposter syndrome of now people you have to tell people what to do, and you're
Man, I got no problem with that.
oh okay good.
I think for me, I think it was more so like I'm already at a company where there's like very few black folk. So, coming in as a manager, you feel like not to say that someone's putting weight on your shoulders. That's definitely not the case. Everyone at this company is super cool. I'm lucky to be there. But you kind of feel like, just like anything, even when you're solo contributor, you got something to prove. And
Mhm.
especially as a manager of a team, in the tech space, right? At a cybersecurity company in downtown Boston, you feel like, I got to show something to these guys to show them why I'm here. They just didn't pick me because I'm, some random guy out the door. And I felt like that was big for me. And at first, when I first got there, you question yourself like, man, I did this at the former company when it was a smaller team, but can I do it at a global team that's much bigger in size over God knows how many different time zones, right? So my team spans from here in, Boston all the way to Romania, Israel, London. Like it's definitely it's a lot, man. But yeah, it's you get over that hurdle and you're like, oh, I can do this. And then it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And shout out to my manager. My manager's been awesome. He's been really putting me under his wing and he sees what I'm doing and he respects it a lot. And he's just trying to bring some other stuff out of me. And I like it because that's what I'm here for, right? I don't go into it as a manager saying I know everything. Hell no. I'm learning as I go. Some things work, some things don't work. Like I realized my team is really sneaky about their vacation days. And I'm like, all right, I see what y'all doing. I see exactly what y'all doing. So now I'm trying to beat them to put my days in first before they put it in. I got a homeboy putting it in like God knows, like all the way to December. I'm like we ain't even halfway yet through the year. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I get it.
That's what's up. So you're commuting in Boston?
Yeah, commuting from Boston, that's hybrid. So I get a couple days from home, but mostly I'm in the city. I prefer. This is gonna sound weird. The U.S. is the only country right now that doesn't force all the employees to go back. So if you go to other countries, everyone's back in the office. It's not even a thing. This work from home thing, they're like, yeah, I. So for me, I felt like yes, I could work from home, but I really like, you know, I see it as if you work from home, out of sight, out of mind and you think about the economy and layoffs and all that, you kind of don't want to be out of mind. You want to be front, clear as center in people's face. Like, oh, I know who he is. I see him in the office all the time. You know what I mean? And I thought that was really important, and it paid off because now you become a household name. People know who you are. They know your team. They know your work ethic. And for me, being at a new company, I felt like that was key. Yeah, maybe like down the road a little bit more, I'll put some more time from home. But starting out there, I just knew like I want you to know my name. You don't have to know exactly what I do, but at least know my name. I'm here.
I'm more productive away. I like having a dedicated workspace that's not my house. Like it's
Something about it.
yeah. You know me. I couldn't sit still when we were working together. So it's like I can't do any of that. There are definitely pros to not having to get up and go out,
Yeah.
but my couch is like right there. My TV's
Oh,
right
it's teasing,
there.
man. It's
You
it's
know what I
it's so
mean?
tempting.
I have
It's so tempting.
like what are we doing? So
Right.
I do miss and I miss the rhythm of it before COVID. I used to, get dressed, get on the train, My podcast game was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Music game, because that was part of it, and I just missed the camaraderie of it. So no,
Yeah.
I understand wholeheartedly. So it sounds like you've been making strides on the personal end. Were you ever gonna not DJ anymore?
Nah, I couldn't. There's no way. There's absolutely no way I can hang it up. I feel like I wouldn't say I'm out of my prime. I think I hit my prime probably between 2015 and 2018. I think those were like where I was just Wednesday through Saturday, having fun. Now it's being more selective, and I feel like I enjoy it more. You know why I say that, Joel? It's because I'm selective about the events. I really curate some really creative sets into this now, because I feel like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do. Like, oh, we're doing a reggae night? Oh, for real? That's what we're doing? Like, that's my foundation. And so I can really do it instead of being like weddings where, yeah, they pay well, but man, my old ass ain't trying to be in a 3-piece suit doing somebody's reception and ceremony, 2 setups. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. You can give that to them young dudes. They can make the money off of that. I got a 9 to 5 for that part. Give me something where I can have a little more expression. Give me some R&B. Give me whatever it is. So I've been tapping into that a lot, tapping into genres that I don't often play. In front of other people. I kind of at a point now where I'm like, I want you to see my other side. I want to show you what I can do when I did a set in London, and see how it resonates with people here in the United States. I just feel like you got nothing to hide. You're too old to hide stuff, so you just kind of lay it all out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, it's okay. I understand.
You ever thought about putting your own events on?
Yes, I still do. I didn't do it to the capacity which I did in college. I was doing it all the time in college. I did a little bit out of college. And, that's the part about having a residency. But at the same time, it's like one of those things where I only will do a residency if I have full control over everything.
Right.
Like, I have full control over everything. I'm not, somewhat of a control freak in the sense of if my name and my brand is on something, it has to represent me. I don't want something that's going to be somebody else's vision and bringing me in to morph it a little bit. It's got to be fully me. So I've been thinking about something really big, actually. Next year is my 20-year anniversary of doing this music thing. And I want to throw something crazy, Joel. I don't know what it's going to be. I got some ideas. I already got some people and artists that I want to put on the bill. I might even do the whole event free, like
Okay.
pure chaos, free, open bar, bring people in their 30s, make them feel like they're in their 20s again. You know what I mean? The bounce back ain't the same the next day, but just giving something that, is different. And that's the thing too, you realize is that the older you get, your network of people are growing. A lot of your friends have families, they have kids, you know what I'm saying? So for them to step outside, you got to really make it worth their while. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. There's someone we interviewed, Shepsworth Bentley from the Baltimore area, had some of the most creative ideas for events. And for example, one that I love that I gotta get to is called Coffee Club Social, where I remember one spin on it is he would have people meet up prior to work, so they would go to a coffee shop and literally just kind of get up for the workspace. But now it's like after work hours. Sometimes it's cocktails, sometimes it's not. No alcohol at all, just coffee. People chilling, having a good time, and I like it. He had one where the service industry would party together and then complain about work, doing stand-up and stuff like that. So I think it's perfect for a DJ because the big thing is no matter what event I come up with or anyone else comes up with, you're going to need music or something of some sort. So you always got to have a DJ. Being a DJ is great because you're like, well, the music's covered. Now I can kind of just what do I want people to do when they come into this space, and that's where you can get really creative and decorate it, man. You can have like a chill room, you could do whatever you want technically, and be like, all right, I'll just spin for a little bit, or just have someone else spin for a little bit. And to your point, I think that's what people want. We've done a lot of going out dancing and going out just getting drunk, which is great. People love bars, people love clubs. People also like seeing something they've never seen before and just like
that's what they want. That's what they want now, and that's why you see a lot of R&B events more than you ever have. There used to be a few back in the day, right? They weren't on the cadence in which we see them now. Like you can see multiple under different brands, different promoters, different DJs, and I think people are now more open and not afraid to express themselves. Like there's a whole world outside of like hip hop and dancehall, right? There's a whole world of stuff, and you're starting to see people really start to embrace other genres, mixing things up, and really have some fun. Like you get to see like, you know, Jersey music kind of really hit the Northeast again, where it kind of faded for a little bit. You know, you're seeing a lot of that, and just the way hip hop is flowing is different than what it was before, and you can kind of play with people a little bit more now. I feel like you're more open to playing cool stuff like, you know, this artist or that artist, and not just the same 5 people. People don't want that anymore. Like people want to hear something different. Yeah, play the bangers, but play me something that makes me say, what artist is that and what DJ is playing that? That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And that's what I look forward to of when I'm doing my sets now. I'm looking at it like, what can I do that's creative in my sets? Whether, you know, I think of something on the fly or something that I do when I'm practicing them in the studio, and I'm just like, okay, let me try this at an event. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, you're like, where can I go with this? You know, where can I go with this to make it more fun? So, you know, it's a good time. I love it. I love it. I probably won't give up at it. But yeah, you got a good point with the whole thing, the creativity. You got to have the creativity these days and find a reason to get people out.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why. I think
You're good.
internet or something. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how things where things go in terms
Yeah.
of venues, because there's all this negative talk about uh trends, people drinking less,
Yeah.
AI music, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So there's a lot of gloom and doom, but in reality, people are social. It
People
is what it is.
are, and
You
they
know?
will be. And I think, you know what it is? I think it's the season of the creatives. If you're creative, you're going to eat. You're going to win big time. If you can't, you know, be creative, the game is not going to be for you as much, because that's where people are at right now. They want stuff that's different. They want, you know, we went through the phase of brunches. We went through the phase of, you know, this type of genre night, that type of genre night. It's like, what else can you do to make it fun? Like, where can you go with this? Can you do like neo soul painting? Like, you know, you gotta figure out a niche or a different way of thinking to make it fun for people. And that's why, like, if you are on and you look at YouTube, you see people that have all these subscribers. 9 times out of 10, they're all in little like niche areas, and that's what drives their fan base, because there's somebody else that likes that not a lot of people are listening to, and then people gravitate to it. And that's all you need. You just gotta give people a taste of something, and they might not even like it. You just give them a taste and see if they bite. And if they bite and they hook, you're good. You did your job, but you just got to figure out a way to get them to that point.
Yeah. So you're gonna do something crazy for the 20 year.
Yeah.
Professionally, is there any milestone professionally that has eluded you that you're still looking at?
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's really what drives me. I always say to myself, what do I want to do? The big one though for me was playing in other countries. That was, when I tell you, that was on my list for so long. Like from when I started in 05, I remember when I hit like 07, 08, I was like, yeah, man, it would be pretty cool to like go to another country or do something like this. And I had the ability of doing that a few times. That was fun. But I thought about, you know, I played at Carnival before. I did the other country thing. And those are the big ones that were on my list. To play in Cambridge Carnival at one point, which I got to do, and, you know, play soca and all that good stuff, and then go to these other countries and play music. That was great. I always ask, like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And it's tough. I haven't really figured out what's next. I've been thinking about the 20th party, but I haven't really figured out, like, what's the next big thing? Like, what do I really want to do? Or what I haven't done yet, right? And you kind of look at venues. That used to be my thing, was what venue have I not got into? Or what promoter have I not worked with? And I'm at a point where I don't even need promoters no more, man. I'm like, I'll figure it out without a promoter. I don't know. I think it's still up in the air.
Yeah, this is good. I like that. It could hit you out of nowhere one day, and then that'll be it.
That's all it takes.
Oh, we gotta keep us posted on the 20 year.
Yeah,
that could be a thing, man.
It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be. I've already been brainstorming the ideas for that. It's really about what venue is gonna allow me to get away with all this shit. Like, that's really what I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at. Is what venue am I cool with the owner, and like the event staff that can really let me do some wild shit. Like it's gonna be one of those events where you're like, how did he pull that off? That's the goal. That is the goal for that event, is for someone to say, how did he pull that off? So I don't know, Joe. You might be seeing like strippers come down from the top rope. I don't know what's gonna be. Yeah, I'm still working on it, but it's gonna be something for everybody. And it's gonna be, you know, an expression of me. So if you know my personality, it all makes sense.
Well, that's what's up, man. Jamerson, this has been good. This has been a good little refresher, man.
Yeah, anytime, anytime. And once again, thank you so much for having me. I always appreciate it, man. I love the brand. You already know. I remember the foundation of when you first got this lifted off the ground. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
This
man. It
is
was
awesome.
just like you, man. Once COVID hit, it was like, what's gonna happen? What's
Yeah.
happening? And just kept pushing. So we got some stuff cooking ourselves in Baltimore, but we figuring out what to do in Boston, because there's gonna be another. Just want to do more showcases in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nah, man, Moonlighter OG, man. It's good to see you, man. Good to hear you doing well. We'll check in again regardless. We're gonna keep doing
Same
this.
to you. Same to you.
How can people support? Where can people find you if they want to reach out?
Yeah, so all social media, you can find me at DJ Nexxus US 44, DJ Nexxus 44. And that's really it. You know, website, what is it? DJNexxusOnline.com. And I'm everywhere. Under that tag, you will find me on every single thing. So stay tuned. There's more to come. There actually are some, I'll give one teaser. There is a mixtape or two that are about to come out. One is going to be really nice. I think some folks who need some kind of chill, focus at work music, they're going to love one of them that I'm about to drop. So, you know, still trying to feed the fan base, but it's been a while since I released the mixtape, but I got two coming out.
Cool. All right, man. We'll keep us posted. We'll be there. We're waiting for that 20 year. And for those listening, we thank you. Thank you for tuning in again with the Moonlighters Club. We'll be back very soon. Tomorrow, actually. But even after that, we'll be very back soon with more interviews with more Moonlighters. Jamerson, thank you, man. Sky's the limit, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Be easy.
All right, brother.